and goes the can, we're abandoning Kips Bay, and there's another shipping. We just lost sub and tipping.
We've all been waiting for this for a long time. I finally got to watch Hamilton, ever since Yaye brought to my attention the first trailer for the Hamilton Broadway musical. My life has been better. So, Hamilton was finally released for everybody to see at their homes and Disney Plus. If you don't know, then I don't know why. So, Hamilton. This is a legitimate or like a whole show performance. I believe that it was recorded in 3 separate takes. I say takes, but three different days of shooting. One they shot like wide shots with the audience and all that, and then there was others that were mostly for the close-ups. If you're like me, like that you have been listening to the Hamilton musical soundtrack ever since it came out, then you really need to watch this musical because it gives a different feeling when they are performing it on stage that you don't get from just the songs, the soundtrack. Like, yes, some of the musicality gets a little jeopardized, but not in a bad way, because they're not gonna perform it the exact same way every single time. And when they are acting, obviously they are gonna perform it on a much more meaningful way for the characters. Like, for example, one of those moments is when it comes to Meet Him Inside, when Washington and Hamilton are arguing. Like Washington is calling him son, and Hamilton is during this whole argument, he's like, "Don't call me son." And when you hear the soundtrack, like for me at least, when I heard the soundtrack, this just the song, I felt like he was just like annoyed because he was like, "Don't call me son." Like he was diminishing Hamilton for his true potential. He's like, "Don't call me son, don't call me son." And then when he screams, "Don't like call me son one more time," I just thought that he was just angry. But when I watched it on the Hamill film, it hit differently. It made me feel like that those words like had some emotional baggage behind them because, well, if you know, like his father left him, so he grew up without a father. So seeing Washington call him his son, trying to be his father, which during the whole musical, Washington has act like his father figure. He was there when he got married. He's there to give him the position. He's always been, it's always been them too. Washington is always on his side, and that made it like a lot more better for me because it gives a lot more of emotional weight to those words. So I guess you can say that Daddy was calling. Also, speaking about performing things differently, did anybody else got like a Gilbert Gottfried feel when when Lawrence comes in screaming at the beginning of Satisfied? Because that is the only thing that I could think about. It's just Gilbert Gottfried when he comes like, all right. So yeah, these moments are the ones that make it a lot better, like a whole better experience. And I think that probably they perform it every single, since it is a show that they have to do every single day, every single night, like for a few weeks, like until like when the show was on Broadway. They probably acted it in different ways every single night just to make it like refreshing for them, but it really feels like they got out of their way to make this like the legitimate version of Hamilton. Like it feels like it is complete, like it's the one that everybody should see. Even if you already saw it on Broadway, you might want to still watch it to see what changes and what doesn't, because this version, like the sad moments, it emphasizes them to make them sadder, and the fun moments, it makes it like a lot more fun, it's always like a good time when you're watching like the chemistry between Lawrence, Lafayette, Mulligan and Hamilton, especially on The Story of Tonight. Something can never take away, no matter what they tell you. Especially when they're at the beginning where they're saying like, let's have another round tonight. Lafayette is like, let's have another round tonight. And you know, probably that is the reason why Dexter Fletcher on Rocket Man, he decided to record some singing on stage, because it really helped emphasize the moments. Like, you don't get the same feeling on a studio soundtrack versus something that is really being acted on stage, on set, at the moment, with the character in mind. Like, you really get that emotional baggage and all of that character development that is going through the song, because that is one thing, since Hamilton is all musical, really the way how you sing a certain word really gives you a different feeling for the characters. So yeah, we all know, even by listening to the songs, that Act 1 is like the fun saga, and then there comes Act 2, which is the downfall of Hamilton, and with it enter Thomas Jefferson. So what did I miss? Thomas Jefferson is the best counterpart for Hamilton, because he knows how to fight with him on every single front. He's like the one. He's always on his case. He doesn't let him breathe. He doesn't let him get away with anything. Like, before he was here, Hamilton did whatever he wanted. After that, Jefferson almost decided every single thing that Hamilton did. So he had to get approval from Jefferson, which is what happens on The Room Where It Happens, where even if Hamilton sings that he got everything he wanted and more, but he still had to go through Jefferson and James Madison. And that's why the cabinet battles are so fun, because you see them go head to head with their own philosophies on how they should run the states. And that is like some of the best arguments that are out there, especially the first one. It's like Hamilton did everything he wanted, and then it came Jefferson, and he just ripped everything away from him. Like, he had this whole plan to assume state debt, and then Jefferson was like, nope, you can't count with us. Nope, get like something else. We don't like that shit. Get it out. And he didn't get the votes, so they had to improvise in The Room Where It Happens. And also the way that David Diggs moves around the on his performances, he's just like so fun. He's like, yeah, and all that, and then you watch his hair, like, yeah. And to contrast that, also King George, when he like does such novelty and subtlety of his movements when he's on stage, it just makes him like also a fun character to watch on stage. Like, you couldn't get a better King George. So to finish this off, I really gotta give it to the background dancers, the ensemble, especially because some of them, if not most of them, really come and take part, like actual singing and stuff. Like some of them actually have lines and all that. And even though they are telling their own story, like they're helping tell the story behind the main characters, they still come to the front of the stage, and some of them take part, like Philip Schuyler, James Reynolds, Charles Lee, and especially also the background dancer, which is the Bullet. She has like a very interactive role in that. And also character like Samuel Seabury, which he was just a small part, but I really like his performance, because I love when characters are like fighting over each other, and like watching Samuel Seabury and Hamilton like going head to head on that, like singing over the other, trying, especially Hamilton, who's trying to sing over Samuel Seabury. I really like that. And we also gotta give it to the camera work, because me having filmed 2 dance videos already, I really can appreciate the camera work a lot more, because I know it's a lot hard to memorize the whole choreography. Like, I don't know how much time they have, but at least for me, I had like 2 or 3 days. I didn't have that much days. I had like 1 or 2 days of watching the choreography, trying to learn it so I can film. And it's really hard to do what they did, because on some moments they like the camera is like moving, and it's like moving with the choreography even before the formations are happening. Like sometimes the camera is moving to one side, and it, when you realize, it's because another character is coming from that side, and then we change our focus, like something like that. And with all the formations and all that, they always have great camera work for every single part of every performance on the whole show. Also, before we finish, I want to say that some of my favorite characters, like I like almost every single character. The only one that I don't like a lot is James Madison, because it feels like he's just there for, I don't know, doesn't feel like he had like such an interactive role. He's just there for Jefferson. And he's like, yep, I'll follow Jefferson everywhere. Yeah, wanna mess with Jefferson? You gotta get through me. But if Jefferson is not there, it's like, what are you? So my favorite characters are Aaron Burr and Angelica Schuyler, because I really like I really love those characters that have like a sense of guilt, because for me it makes them a lot more human and more relatable. And also Aaron Burr is like a character that I can really resonate with. I can really understand him, and I feel like him and I are somewhat alike, not 100% alike. Now, I do not get behind every single thing he does, because let's face it, he's also an asshole, whether you want it or not, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So yeah, I also love Thomas Jefferson, because he's just a great motherfucker for Hamilton, you know. Also, King George, it's always fun to see him on stage, like I said. So with all of this in mind, I give the Hamill film the rating of 10 Hamill stars out of 10. So yeah, also I heard in one of the interviews that the spinning platform was added like almost at the last minute, and I'm really glad that they still went for it, because even though, yeah, they had to like adjust every choreography that they've already learned to this platform, because it made it like a lot different to perform. I can't imagine the show without it, because it's just so, like, it fits so well, since there is a lot of stuff like around time and all that. Having this spinning platform really helps, it accentuates to where the characters are going and all that. It really helps the story on every single way. So if you watch Hamilton, tell me what you thought about it down below, and if you haven't, then I don't know what you're doing. Go watch it, and when all it's said and all it's done, I hope I'll see you on the next upload.